So I noticed a few days ago that Fedora had a new release. They released version 43 here on the Fedora website at fedoraproject.org. And I've gone ahead and downloaded the ISO for Fedora 43. And I'm going to run through a quick installation and first look inside a virtual machine. So I've created a virtual machine and I've booted into the live environment. Of course, it uses the GNOME desktop environment. And we get a welcome screen, welcome to Fedora Linux. And then do we want to go ahead and launch the installer and install Fedora? Or do we want to choose not now, where we can just play around in the live environment? For me, I want to run through a proper installation. So let's go ahead and install Fedora Linux. One thing to note is the installer, at least here in the live environment, takes a long time to load. I have been waiting least 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds. All right, and we finally come to our interface here where we can choose the language. I'm assuming this is the language for the installer and not the proper installation, but I'm not sure. But either way, for me, the language would be the same for both. English United States is selected here. That's what I need. US keyboard is also selected. That's what I need. So I'll just click next, and then destination. Now, I love the new installer, this new Anaconda Web UI installer. I think they debuted this on the previous version of Fedora, Fedora 42. But yeah, this is much better than the old Anaconda installer because it was confusing as hell what device, what disk you were actually installing to. Now it's obvious because it tells me, hey, it's installing to this disk. Do you want to change it? If you do, click Change Destination and then pick a different device. For me, though, this is much cleaner. It's much easier for me to visually know it's installing, in this case, to VDA. That's the device, the virtual disk here inside the virtual machine that I created. So do I want to use entire disk? Yeah, I'm going to give the entire virtual hard drive of this virtual machine over to Fedora. So I'll click Next. Storage configuration, do you want to encrypt or not? All you have to do is just tick on encrypt if you want to encrypt and then enter an encryption password. For me, because this is a VM, I'm not going to encrypt it. If I was doing this on a physical machine, I would choose the encrypt option and then click Next. And then we get a little bit of a summary here, right? So it gives us the partition scheme. They're going to do Btrfs for the home partition, the root partition, and then we get an extend4 boot partition that's 2 gigs, and then a 629 megabyte EFI partition. All of that looks good. And then click Erase Data and Install, and away we go. We get a little progress bar here. This portion of the installation typically takes just a few minutes on my machine, so I'll pause the video and I'll be back once this part of the Fedora installation has completed. And that portion of the installation took just a few minutes, and then I rebooted the machine, and then we're greeted with a welcome screen. Once again, we have to choose language because the installer language selection was just for the installer itself, because sometimes the person installing the machine speaks one language, but the person that's actually going to run the machine speaks a different one. So choose your language. In my case, English US is what I need. So I'm going to click Next. Next up, keyboard English US is also correct. You do have the option to test out typing if you choose something. You want to check out some special characters just to make sure you have the correct key map chosen. For me, I'm going to trust it. And then privacy. Do we want location services turned on? This allows your apps to determine your geolocation. I'm going to turn that off for privacy reasons because obviously I record videos. Automatic problem reporting, I'll leave that turned on just in case that helps the Fedora team in some way. And then time zone. So I want to be in the central time zone in the US. I'll search Chicago because I'm sure it's going to be in the list. I'm not actually in Chicago, by the way. I think people have realized that. I don't live anywhere near Chicago, but it is in the same time zone as me. So I always choose that in these lists and then click Next. And third-party repositories, do we want to enable third-party repositories? And that's going to be useful probably for some proprietary software such as drivers. So I will tick that on, and then I'm going to click Next. Then finally, let's create our username. I'm going to call myself DT and then click Next. And then let's create a strong and complicated password for the DT user and then confirm the strong and complicated password and then click Next. And then all done. Start using Fedora Linux. Let's click that. I do need to adjust the screen resolution here in the VM. So let me, okay. Oh, here we go. Take tour. Do we want to go through, I believe this is the default GNOME app where it's, tells you all about the GNOME desktop environment. You've probably seen all of this before, but I need to change the display. I'm going to hit the super key and type display, and let's go to displays, and I need 1920 by 1080. Let's click on that, hit apply, and then keep changes. And now every time I come back to this virtual machine, it should remember that I always want the screen resolution to be 1920 by 1080. So first impressions, I've got to say I really love the new Fedora installer. That was always one of my biggest complaints with Fedora, is I hated the installer, right? That problem has now been solved. Great job, Fedora team. I also love the wallpaper, right? This, I'm a wallpaper guy. You guys know this. And this wallpaper of the shuttle here, the space shuttle, is quite nice. We got the Fedora logo down here. Yeah, whoever created this work of art did a great job. I don't know if that was part of like the GNOME team or the Fedora team, but yeah, really like that. Now let's take a look at what is installed out of the box here on Fedora 43. So if I go into Show Apps, and we've got our document scanner, GNOME contacts, GNOME weather, GNOME clocks, GNOME maps. It's all the GNOME stuff, right? It is very GNOME centric. This is really your GNOME distro. Like if you love the GNOME desktop, Fedora might be the distribution for you, right? So great on that. You also have some non-GNOME stuff. You have LibreOffice is here. We have Writer, Impress, and Calc. So let's go ahead and open the word processor, LibreOffice Writer. See what version we're on. Because this just dropped a few days ago, I would expect this to be a rather recent version of LibreOffice. This is version 25.8.1.1. LibreOffice, fantastic program. I use LibreOffice all the time. LibreOffice Writer is what I've used to write books in the past. I've self-published a book on Amazon before that I wrote, formatted primarily in LibreOffice Writer. The spreadsheet program is also quite nice. I'm not much of a spreadsheet guy, but occasionally I will play around in LibreOffice Calc. And because I'm a content creator, I do love the presentation program, which would be Impress. Yeah, LibreOffice Impress. This is a great program to create slideshows. I don't do a lot of slideshows on my channel, but when I do, typically those slideshows, I create those using LibreOffice Impress. Then I export them as PDF slideshows that I then use a PDF viewer like Zathura or something like that to actually go through the slideshow on camera. If I hit the super key, get back into the apps here, let's see what else is installed. We have GNOME boxes, so that's for virtual machines. That uses QEMU, very similar to what I use for my virtual machines. I use Virt Manager, which is QEMU, so it would be the same type of virtual machines. We have the utilities subcategory here, where we have our audio player, which is not a very descriptive name. My one complaint about GNOME is I don't know what the program is. It's just audio player. Okay, well, is that really the name of the program, or is there an actual name? Audio player 49.0. So I guess the name of the program is actually just audio player. Really unique name, right? And then we have a system subcategory here where we have GNOME disk, GNOME logs, a system monitor, just standard kind of GNOME stuff. Really not much here. Let's open the GNOME terminal here. And let's actually take a look under the hood, because that's where a lot of the magic happens with new releases. It's the stuff you don't see that's really the important stuff. Let's start with the kernel. So I'm going to do a uname space -r. And you can see we're on kernel version 6.17.1. We already know also that GNOME, this is version 49 of GNOME. Some other things we could take a look at. The easiest way to find what some of the new version numbers are is just to get a list of all the installed packages. And with RPM, you can do RPM-QA. And it lists all the installed packages, and then from there just grep what you're interested in. For example, if I wanted to know what version of Bash we're on Bash 5.3. If I wanted to know how many packages are installed, we could print out that list and pipe it into the word count program, so the WC program, and give it -L for a line count rather than a word count. And 1,978 lines were in that output. That means there's 1,978 packages installed as RPM packages. One interesting thing we could check, let me grep RPM and actually check the versioning. RPM 6.0.0-1. So this is the new RPM version 6, and they've been working on a new version of RPM for a while that's supposed to be better for security. It's basically for improved signature checking, multiple signatures per package, better key management, that kind of thing. For end user, if you're just a normal desktop Linux user like I am, you really don't care what it does. Just know that for security reasons, RPM 6.0 is an improvement over the previous version. One other thing I want to do is I'm going to echo xdg_session_type. And of course, we're using Wayland. But one thing I didn't show is in the login manager, because we didn't go to a login manager when I rebooted the machine for the first time, it went straight into the finished part of the installation where we had to choose our username and everything. But if we go out into a login manager, there will not be a X11 session in Fedora anymore. It only has Wayland, right? So it just has the one session to choose. So no more X11 on GNOME. Let's go ahead and get out of the terminal. One thing to note with Fedora, I always look at wallpapers on distros, and people, man, the wallpapers don't matter. Well, I love wallpapers. And they've actually done some improvements with their wallpapers, because reading through the release announcement, I noticed that their default wallpaper format, they've switched to using JPEG-XL as the image format, and that is to reduce size, because images, especially high quality images, take up a lot of room on an ISO, so they switched to JPEG XL to reduce the size but still maintain quality, because the quality is pretty good with JPEG XL. And let's take a look at wallpapers. Are there any cool wallpapers other than the default? I do like the Space Shuttle one, and I probably wouldn't change it, but I do actually want to check the backgrounds. I do also want to switch to a dark theme. Go ahead and do that as well. Yeah, just for my eyes, my old and tired eyes, I like dark themes. Looks like a lot of the default GNOME wallpapers, but you know, we got the one Fedora branded wallpaper. Is there anything else? No, but I mean, a lot of the good abstract art that is a standard part of the GNOME wallpaper pack. I mean, these are good wallpapers, like this here. You know, if you like abstract art, there's some good stuff in here. I really like this. This would be great. I would actually prefer the lighter wallpaper if I could. Not going to let me switch to it. I want the light wallpaper with the dark theme instead of the dark wall. You know, for me, I like doing it the opposite for contrast, right? I want the lighter wallpaper, but I guess, is there not a way to force the light wallpaper with the dark theme? I would think there probably is, but I'd probably have to go Google it or chat GPT it to figure out how to do that. But we got some cool stuff here, and this is an interesting one here. What is this? Yeah, like some icons or something. Yeah, honestly, I like the default wallpaper. I think I'm just going to go with the default wallpaper. I think that's the one that makes the most sense for me. One thing we didn't take a look at was the applications that are docked, because obviously people are going to ask about the web browser, right? The most important application, right? The one you're going to spend the most time in. They are defaulting to Mozilla Firefox. They're one of those distributions that are still holding out hope that Mozilla Firefox will one day be great again. But I don't have much hopes for Mozilla as a corporation anymore. But this is Firefox version 143.0.3 for those that want to use it. Taking a quick look around GNOME 49, which I haven't spent much time with, it does look nice. It looks like GNOME. No major changes, just minor tweaks. This is the date calendar area. We have the sys tray over here. I noticed we got the do not disturb button, where if you turn that on, now you don't get any non-critical like notifications. So that's great for those that don't want to be disturbed with random like social media notifications, things like that. That was in a different spot before. I think that was over here in the calendar app, where now it's over here in the little sys tray area, which makes much more sense for that button to be there. Overall, just the few minutes I spent looking around Fedora 43, looks like a fantastic distribution. Looks very sharp, professional, polished. Love the new installer. That's the big thing, right? They needed that new installer. They've needed that for many, many years. And I want to congratulate the team at Fedora for a job well done on that. Now, before I go, I need to thank a few special people. I need to thank the producers of this episode. And that, of course, includes Matt, Steve, 40mm, Cap Caveman, Darloff Lee, Jersey Killer, Mark, Methos, Arion, Paul, Peace, Arch, and Fedora, Realities for Less, Red Prophet, Roland, Morgento, and Ubuntu, and Willie. These guys, They're my highest tiered patrons over on Patreon. Without these guys, this quick look at Fedora 43 would not have been possible. The show is also brought to you by each and every one of these fine ladies and gentlemen. These names you're seeing on the screen, these are all my supporters over on Patreon, because I don't have any corporate sponsors. I'm sponsored by you guys, the community. If you like my work and want to see more videos about Linux and free and open source software, subscribe to DistroTube over on Patreon. Peace, guys.